Hey, how you doing? Today I'm going to be playing something a little bit different from what I've been playing over the last several weeks. I think it's no surprise to anybody who's been paying attention to the channel that black has definitely been neglected around here. Well, I'm going to be trying to fix that this week, and I'm going to be starting off with this Golgari list that I put together and have been tweaking ever so slightly over the last several days. It's in a pretty good spot. I do think there's still room for it to grow, but I like where it is right now. And if you'd like to help the channel continue to grow, sub up if you haven't done so already, and leave a comment down below. Let me know what you think about black and the state it's in right now in standard. Now, what's going on with this deck? Nothing too surprising, but it is pretty neat. We are definitely running the Badgermole Cub package. Of course, this is going to double all of our Mana Dorks mana, so we're playing 4 copies of Gene Pollinator, 4 copies of Llanowar Elf, and 3 copies of Leyline Weaver. In addition, we want to get out our early Ouroboroid. You guys have seen this package in many, many decks. It's powerful for a reason. However, we are also playing a lot of really cool black cards that are going to work well with this stuff. So what are we going to talk about first? Let's talk about Nowhere to Run first. I think Nowhere to Run is going to be an interesting one. Obviously, it's good because it's an instant speed removal, -3/-3, and it gets around ward and hexproof. But it also leaves an enchantment on the field for our Gene Pollinator to tap down. So if we need something to generate mana, that's going to be a pretty good permanent just to have on the field so that we can tap it down, generate 2 extra mana, and save up some of our creatures that we want to be attacking with if they're being pumped up by the Ouroboroid, for example. Then we are playing, of course, the Leyline Weaver, which is going to untap every time a 4 CMC permanent enters the battle. No, sorry, when we cast a spell with mana value 4 or greater. Well, we have our Acolyte and we have our Ouroboroid. Of course, it's good with Ouroboroid because if we cast out the Ouroboroid, untap the Weaver that paid the mana to cast out the Ouroboroid, then it's going to be a 3/3 and it can attack in right away. And then if we put out the Acolyte with the Weaver mana, it's also going to untap the Weaver, and then that Weaver can attack in and trigger the first ability on the Acolyte. Whenever one or more creatures you control deal combat damage to a player, you draw a card and you lose 1 life. So if we can sneak in a quick Weaver, that's going to be pretty good for some card advantage. And then we have the card that actually motivated me to make this deck. Luis here, the Pompous Pillager. I love this card, and I really wanted to play around with this card more. And I figured, hey, if I'm going to generate a whole bunch of mana with Badgermole Cub, why not have an X spell in the deck? So we put in Luis. Luis is going to enter with X +1/+1 counters on him, and when he enters, he deals X damage to target opponent. So if we can cast this out for like X4, X6, X8, not unrealistic to be doing in a Badgermole Cub deck, we're going to be doming the opponent for a ton of damage, and then we're going to be sitting on the board, or Luis is going to be sitting on the board with a ton of power and lifelink. So it's going to be really powerful. Now, since we are going to be gaining a bunch of life with Luis, I figured why not throw in Mai? Mai might be really good against some of these non-creature casting spells like the Lessons decks. Now, of course, Mai is going to be easily taken out with their Firebending Lesson or Combustion Technique, whatever it's called. They have ways of getting rid of it. But even if they use one of those spells on Mai, it's going to mean that they're not using it on our Acolyte or our Ouroboroid. And in addition, they're going to still be taking 2 damage when they do that. Now, if they don't have it in hand and they got to start digging with some of their draw spells, hey, this thing is going to really add up. Of course, it also affects us because we are playing several cards that are non-creature spells. We have Nowhere to Run, Shoot the Sheriff, and Strategic Betrayal. But since we do gain life from Luis, I think it's not going to be such a big deal. And then the last card to mention is the Deep Cavern Bat. I think Deep Cavern Bat works really well in this style of deck because obviously it's hand disruption. We can remove some of those annoying things that they're going to be saving to get rid of our Ouroboroid. So if we put out a Deep Cavern Bat on turn 2, we can get rid of, say, like a Sheltered by Ghost, and then you slam down an Ouroboroid, and suddenly you have a 2/2 flyer, you have a 4/4 flyer, it just keeps getting bigger and bigger, and suddenly that Deep Cavern Bat is a huge threat in the air. They have a hard time getting rid of it if it gains a whole bunch of life. It's just a cool card to have in the deck. And that's what I'm working with here. We do have one interesting land over on the side, Restless Cottage. You've seen this a lot. It's going to be eating stuff in the graveyard if it attacks in. There is also a cool little synergy with this card that I want to mention right off the bat. If you animate the Restless Cottage with the Badgermole Cub's Earthbend, Well, a cool thing happens. That very last little bit of text, whenever this land attacks, create a food token and exile up to one target card from a graveyard. That is not related to the activated ability of the Restless Cottage. That is just when the land attacks. So if you make this land attack in other means or with other means, it still gets that ability. And that was really cool because I didn't realize that until I attacked in with a 1/1 Restless Cottage that I earthbent, and then it got to eat something from the graveyard. It was actually a very powerful card from the Kavaro deck, and I was very, very happy when it happened. So that's everything that's going on with the deck. Let me know what you think about it. We're going to jump into some gameplay and see how it plays. See you over there. Game number 1 against Timu, up in Mythic rank. We made it to Mythic last week, and now we get to enjoy playing whatever we want to play. Opening hand looks pretty good. Llanowar Elf into maybe a turn 3 Ouroboroid. It might be a little bit tricky with this tap land, but we'll see how it goes. And if we rip well, opponent's playing red, so going to be a problem. I was going to say also if we rip a Badgermole Cub off the top, we'll be in really good shape. Anyways, if you skip the introduction, hello, nice to see you. Help me grow. Sub up if you can. I really appreciate all the new people that have joined the channel. And of course, comments are my favorite thing. So do leave a comment down below. Let me know what you're thinking about standard and black and all that kind of stuff. Do you think we should be playing more black? I'm kind of curious. Oh man, I'll tell you, this morning, that intro was really hard for me to film for some reason. I think my brain is still buffering, and hopefully these games go a little bit smoother than that intro went, because I don't think I've fully woken up. Have you ever slept? And have you ever slept? Is that a thing you've done? No, you wake up in the morning and you just got like some dust in your eye or something. And it's just like all day it's going to be bothering you. That's the situation I'm in right now. Okay, so I have the option to shoot the sheriff, kill the Needlekin Razorkin Needlehead. Of course, I switched around, but I think I'd rather try to draw an untapped land, just take 1 damage here, and slam down the Ouroboroid. It's just a better play to do. We get the Ouroboroid on the field. We don't take damage from the Scalding Viper. The Leyline Weaver untaps. We can actually put the Gene Pollinator in. You know what? I'm okay with that. Yeah. 1 damage to get a 2/3 onto the field that could be a 4/5 next turn. I think that's okay. And they need to get rid of this Ouroboroid. If they don't, next turn we throw down the Acolyte and I don't think they're getting rid of it. And once this Acolyte gets on the field, and if it gets pumped +2/+2 from the Ouroboroid, there's no way that they're going to be able to recover. I don't care how much damage I'm taking from the Scalding Viper and the Razorkin Needlehead. Yeah, draw. It's fine. Oh my goodness. That's such a shame for the opponent. Well, we're still going to do it this way. We can actually kill something with the Shoot the Sheriff this turn if we really want to. But I think it's fine to do this. They have 2/4. You know what? Let's tack in with just... Do I just go in with both? Yeah. I don't need to shoot something. It's fine. This game is like 100% over for them. They have 2 cards in hand. They have a pretty good board, but what's it really going to do against the Acolyte that's sitting there with 6 as a 6/6 with lifelink, drawing us a card, taking a little bit more damage? It's fine. How could they do 14 points of damage through these 2 creatures? Next turn we slam the Ouroboroid. It's going to trigger both of them. Everything's massive. We just slam in with the team and it'll be over. Timu, I'm sorry. You ran into a bit of a bad matchup. And we didn't even have the Cub this time around. Okay. Sure. So now I think, I probably should have done it beforehand. Do I just want to get rid of something this time with this? I think it's fine. I can't shoot. That guy's an outlaw. Oh, I always forget. I always make the assumption that Shoot the Sheriff kills literally everything in the format, but some outlaws are lurking about, and this little fella is an assassin. Next one. Well, game number 1 definitely went very smoothly. This deck, at first I had some issues with it, but after making a few tweaks here and there with the mana base, for some reason, I don't want to get into it. Best of 1 mana bases are funky. When I had 22 lands, put the tinfoil hat on. When I had 22 lands in the deck, nothing was working in this deck. I went down to 21 lands, and suddenly things are working a whole lot better in the deck. But maybe it's just variance, and yeah, that's all it is. I mean, this is insane, right? Let's put this on black. We'll pay. I've already committed to black. Oh, did I make a mistake with this? I always make a mistake with the black thing. I think it's okay. No, we can still do it. And then I guess we're going to put out the Deep Cavern Bat just to see what they have in hand. Nowhere to Run, Boomerang Basic. I guess we get the Nowhere to... Grab this? Yeah, it looked like they want to go with the Nowhere to Run, so we'll get rid of that. They're still going to be able to bounce it, but then it's going to be awkward for them because they'll only be able to bounce the Deep Cavern Bat, and then that'll give us time to get the Acolyte on the field, attack in for a bunch. If we draw an Ouroboroid, it's going to be crazy. Yeah. I was also going to mention at the end of the... Okay, we're going to have one extra mana here, so... This is going to make black, green. Yeah. And then we'll also put the Llanowar Elf onto the field. It'll be fine. It looks like they're probably going to try to flash in the Sun Pearl Kirin. So do I want to give my Badgermole Cub for a Sun Pearl Kirin? And I think the answer is probably no. It's okay. I don't need to draw a card with the Acolyte. At first, I was thinking that was what I was going to do, but I'd rather keep the Badgermole Cub around, because if we hit an Ouroboroid, then things get really crazy, of course, right? What I was going to talk about was the... I guess I should have seen that coming. Oh, okay, they get rid of that. That makes more sense. The Outlaw. I really hope Wizards moves away from Outlaws and from... What's the other thing? Like Party. I was thinking about parties the other day. And it's such a bad mechanic, right? I don't like the idea of words that mean other words, if you get what I mean. Like when they say outlaw, then you have to remember what outlaws are. And it's just kind of cumbersome. Okay. My bad. I forgot that I didn't have mana open because I'm sitting here talking and complaining about outlaws. But it's okay. So they kill our Badgermole Cub. They're going to bounce maybe the Storm Chaser's Talent. Oh, they bounced that. That's fine. And then they're going to go after our lands eventually, but we're definitely going to get this Ouroboroid out. Oh, wow. I'm surprised they scooped it up. I think they probably were in a pretty good position. Definitely attacking all with my Mana Dorks was a big mistake there. For some reason, in my head, I had it that, I'm going to be able to play out Luis and the Llanowar Elf. Luis, also known as Louis, whatever you want to call him. Again, early morning woes. Next one. No more complaining about outlaws and party and all these confusing mechanics. Instead, we got to focus up. Oh, this hand, look at the special arts, by the way. As someone who doesn't play very much black, for some reason, I have a ton of the Parallax card versions, whatever, for these colors. I don't know what it is. All right. Well, I suppose I have to do it this way, right? So we'll go Llanowar Elf into Deep Cavern Bat. We'll rip the Badgermole Cub out of their hand that they most certainly have sitting there, that they're going to try to slam on turn 2. Hopefully they don't have 2 of them. They don't. Okay, well, let's just take the cage because that's the thing that they can cast, and then maybe we can be fast enough. Strategic Betrayal to get rid of the Llanowar Elf. Is that what we're doing? Is that what I'm doing here? So I could also put a Louis onto the field for X2, but I think I'd rather just cut them off of this Gearhulk mana. We'll put out our Llanowar Elf, and then if we draw our Acolyte or our Ouroboroid, we're good. If we don't draw either, we put out Louis for X3, and I think that's fine. X4. Yeah, we'll tap. Oh, X5? 1, 2, 3. I see what it's doing. So then that doesn't make sense. No. Let's just do it for X4. We'll 1, 2, 3, X3. We'll just do it X3. And we'll attack in for 2. Yeah, sure. That's fine. Dome them for 3. Attack in like this. Maybe I should have done it a little bit harder because this Gear Hulk, yeah, you know what? I should have committed to the full 4 now that I'm thinking about it. I didn't use my full brain. I only used half my brain because now we need a removal spell. Luis being at a 6/5 would have been significantly better against the first striking Gear Hulk. So now this is a big old problem for me. Whoopsie. So let's say let's say I attack in with everything. I can't let him die, but everything's going to die next turn because they have Seamrip. Man, it's crazy that they can grab 2 Seamrips. So I'm so screwed. I think that was a huge misplay. It's crazy how like a little step like that can make such a huge difference in the game. Let's say had I not done it this way, I could have attacked in with the full team. They could have maybe put the Bright Glass Gear Hulk in front of like one of the Llanowar elves and let that 5 damage or 6 damage through. And then next turn I would have had Luis to kill them. And now they have 2 of these first strikers on the field. I don't have a flyer. It's going to actually be really hard for me to get around. Ouroboroid saves me. No, instead I get that. So if I attack in, oh my gosh, it's so horrid. So do I just throw out... I can attack in with Luis, but it doesn't do anything. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 mana. So I can do X5. This feels so bad. Yeah. Doesn't matter. I really goofed this up. We keep this one. We hit them for 5. And now we do have a pretty good attacker, but they still have the Seamrip. They still have the Collector's Cage. They probably Seamrip the Leyline Weaver this turn. Oh, they can Seamrip Luis. Oh my god, I forgot that Luis is still going to be 2 CMC, and Now I'm just spiraling. I'm literally just spiraling. Okay, we do have 3 Luis in the deck. Maybe we grab a 3rd one here, and we hit them for 5 more damage. Could you imagine that world? Okay, Paw Patch, that's fine. First strike getting me down. Oh, we draw land. All right, pass. I threw this game away. Don't judge me. Don't. Man, I really wish I could change my work schedule so I could actually film at a more reasonable time. But unfortunately, your boy here has got to wake up at 7 a.m. to make these videos for all of you. So I hope you appreciate that. Yeah, early mornings for this guy. Let's see what the next Collector's Cage hides. It's another Collector's Cage, and they do still have one more chance. They can put a +1/+1 on any number of creatures. We have 1 draw. Basically, we need Luis. They have another Collector's Cage. I love what's going on from Black Wizard. In a way, I'm kind of glad that I flubbed this one because it led to this nonsense. I think honestly I won the game had I full committed to putting that 1 extra counter on Luis. What a tough loss because it all came down to me being stupid and not just that 1 extra thing. And now that I'm thinking about it, I hope my memory is correct of what happened in that last game, because the reason I didn't put Luis out for the full amount of mana that I had available was because I wanted to get in for 1 damage with the Gene Pollinator or something like that, right? I think that's what the situation was. And that doesn't make sense because just putting 1 more mana into Luis would have done 1 more point of drain damage, would have gained me a life, and then he would have been 1 point bigger. Like, it's crazy how bad a decision that was. Well, it doesn't matter how I tap my mana here, right? Yeah. I see a lot of people, they're very careful on the ladder when they have a Llanowar Elf on turn 1, and they're tapping very, very carefully. They want to make sure that they're getting maximum mana every single, you know, you tap your mana dork and you tap your land, then you animate the land to get 2. But the Land of War Elf makes 2 mana. The animated land, the whatever you want to call it, the Earthbent land will make 2. Did you notice in the worlds they called the Earthbend lands Earthbended, not Earthbent? I thought that was so strange. Apparently I'm in a rambling mood this morning. We do have black mana. So I could tap this, amazingly tap my land, and I can put out this. Let's find out what our opponent's working with. And then we still have 6 mana available to us. We can throw out the Ouroboroid and go from there. Like, things are looking really good over here. But the hand will reveal how good or bad it actually is. Oh. Boys. We came here. We came here to live. We came here to slam an Ouroboroid and risk running into that Day of Judgment. And it's not gonna happen. It's not. We put this one out. It's fine. Oscar's gonna whiff this turn, no untapped land, and we take a win against... No! No! You do that every single time, right? Like, you take the risk there. I think that was an appropriate risk to take. You know, they have 3 lands. They have 1 castable card in their hand. This deck runs a lot of tap lands. They didn't have the mana to dig, like they didn't have blue to, you know, consult the star charts, whatever. I think that was an appropriate move, and we got punished so hard. Did it for the video. This video is turning into a whole comedy of errors at this point. All right, let's Deep Cavern Bat. They'll probably consult the star charts here. No, they leave it in hand, so they probably have... Oh, come on, man. Come on. Why? Why does it have to be like that? All right. That's so unlucky for us that they drew 3 board wipes. They were stuck at 3 mana, and then they found mana. They have the Ultima. Of course, we knew it was coming. They get back their Beyond the Quiet. Our poor Mai goes into the graveyard, and okay, well, we get the Unfortunately, I got to slam the Ouroboroid, but what it does is it forces them to use the Beyond the Quiet this turn. You gotta get rid of it, unless they have maybe Get Lost for some spot removal. But okay, that's fine. And now we draw pretty badly. I could fire off the Strategic Betrayal to get rid of their graveyard, but I don't think there's anything in their graveyard that would need to get rid of. Exile target opponent. I can only get rid of opponent stuff. It's unfortunate I can't use that against myself to get rid of my graveyard, so I could maybe counter the Monument at some point. And now they start missing lands? Come on, man. This is a pretty good draw. Okay, we'll put the Acolyte onto the field. And if they don't have a counter spell... All right. I think it's pretty much impossible from this spot to actually do anything. I'm not going to drag this game out. So we're going to move on. Oscar got me. That was one heck of a top deck. Good land draw. What can you do? Okay, I accept that loss. I think that was like destined. A destined loss. There was no way we were getting around that one. This hand looks a little sketch, but we're going to try it out. Hopefully these removal spells actually do something. In that last matchup, they did literally nothing. I think against this deck, they are actually not so great. This is like, what is this? I know I've run into it before. Is it a Ketramos deck with the Curious Farm Animal? We'll see. Voice of Victory. Okay, the Voice of Victory can at least shoot the Bard because it isn't Oh, okay, that's fine. We're definitely getting rid of this. It's not an outlaw. And I think, well, let's get in for one. Why not? Maybe I should have put the starting town auto in turn 1 and taken 1 damage, but I think it's probably fine. Okie dokie, I didn't expect that. So now suddenly the Mai is not looking overly good in this matchup. It can kind of stop some attackers with the first strike, but they're probably not going to have many non-creature spells because this is certainly going to be a Sephiroth deck. And now we are drawing land, land, land. The Strategic Betrayal is actually going to be pretty good at some point in this game because it's going to be able to get rid of their graveyard for Raise the Past. But if they get a sack outlet, like a Sephiroth, that's going to be a pretty good sack outlet, then we might just be in trouble. How do I fire off the Strategic Betrayal now? Like, it's going to be a pretty good Strategic Betrayal. All 3 of these are good targets for me to hit. They could attack in with the Servondum. Not the Blood Witch. Okay. So we take 3 down to 13. And the Acolyte is actually fantastic here. So we can go... Why does it want to tap? Oh, it's because I don't have enough black mana. It's fine. We'll take 1 point of damage. So Acolyte onto the field. We will make our opponents sacrifice probably the... What do you get? Well, if they have a Vondum in hand, they'll sacrifice the Vondum. If they don't, maybe they'll sacrifice the Blood Witch and just keep building up the Vondum. Yeah. Which is a bit of a problem because now the Servondum is a 4/4, which means it's going to kill something when it dies eventually. So this Acolyte or maybe a future Ouroboroid might be a little bit vulnerable. Oh, that's good. That's good. That's good. They come in with these ones. That's a little surprising. Why are they coming in with the Sephiroth? They have another one, maybe? So I don't know if there's any reason not to block like this. We go down to 7. I didn't realize we were so low on life. Boom, boom. Take more damage. I guess I am getting pinged quite a bit by this Blood Witch. And now we do get another Acolyte, but the other Acolyte is not going to be good enough. I could attack with everything. No, then I just die, right? Let's send... I got to read this. Void. At the beginning of your end step, if a non-land permanent left the battlefield. Okay, let's attack in with a robot. Oh, wow. I didn't expect them to let that go. Servondum. Okay. Or not Servondum. What am I saying? Servondum. The Nowhere to Run might actually end up being kind of good at some point. But we are at 5 life. I do have to use 1 more life to get this Nowhere to Run onto the field. But the Nowhere to Run might be able to prevent a little bit of damage from the Vengeful Blood Witch, or it might be able to stop this Servondum because I can maybe double block with something now and make it -3/-3. And then if it's at 3 toughness, then it won't be able to kill one of the Acolytes. And if I can start attacking in, I wonder if they attack with the Vondum. Attack, please attack. No, they just come in with the insect. Okay, with the Vondum too. Come on, Vondum. Send it in. Good, good, good. It's perfect for me, right? Double block. They do still have... Oh! They do still have 1 mana open, so it's possible, but I don't think they have any way to react. So we'll gain 8 life. Up to 9. Drain by 2, though. And now... Oh, come on. Come on now. Come on now. Are we attacking with the whole team? Yep. We're going to go up to a cozy 15, but -2. Okay, so they must have a Strategic Betrayal. So we desperately need... Or what am I saying? They must have a Raise from the Past. That's certainly what's happening here. So we might actually just be dead. I don't think they have a sack out, though. We didn't hit it. Okay, well, we can still slam the Ouroboroid. We can just slam everything, right? Yeah, let's put maximum stuff onto the field. We are also going to be getting 2... Yeah, let's do that. Let's do this. We're also going to be getting 2 babies here from the Acolyte. So we're at 5, though. The Ouroboroid obviously didn't trigger because we passed combat, but there's their raise from the past. They're at 21 life. They don't have a sacrifice outlet. Do I have enough damage to attack in and survive? I don't know. I'm gaining a lot of life from the Acolytes, but it's just not quite enough. Okay. It's not the worst card. Let's take this... Take the Vondum, maybe? That way they can't put out the Vondum to trigger the, like, death trigger or whatever you want to call it. And then I think what I'm going to do is... I don't want to attack in, do I? Not yet. But what I am going to do is I'm going to load up this... It's going to cost 4 anyways. I'm going to load up the Restless Cottage just to get counters on it. Put that out, whatever. Everything goes up. And you know what? No, I do need to attack in, don't I? How hard do I go? Okay, we'll go like this. We'll go up a little bit of life. Get rid of the Raise the Pass. I guess it doesn't really matter. Ooh, I wasn't thinking that I was going to make a food. I wasn't planning on attacking, which was a little bit of a problem. They don't have a great... I don't think they can kill me, though, unless they hit a sacrifice outlet off the top. If they find something like that, we're going to be in really big trouble. But this Sir Vondum is going to be big. I do have to be aware of that. I need to be able to put multiple things in front of it. The chances are these Acolytes are going to make 2 more robots. So I probably will... That's surprising. Okay. Wow, they did the math. They knew they could go down to 3. We are going to go down to 12, though. Actually, a lot less. I keep forgetting these blood... Oh, no. These Blood Witches are really bad news for me. Okay, no sack out off the top. Oh, my God. These are good cards. But I can't cast... Well, that's a good card, I should say. But I can't cast it. It all depends on what that card is. Oh, that's cool. Cool animation on that, right? Boom. I'm kind of having fun right now. Even, oh man, this is such bad gameplay. I'm sorry. Truthfully, so it's Friday. I've been thinking about making videos all week. And every morning I wake up, I'm like, oh, I just don't have it in me. I just don't have it in me. But I have to make this video. Okay, so 100% whenever this creature or another creature you control dies, those go in front of that, 100%. This has to block here. And then I'm going to take 1, 2, 3, 4 damage from those. And then that's going to hit me for a couple of damage there. So I think this is okay. I think I survive here, right? Sir Vondum's blocked. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Gain 2. I should be at 2 life. Okay, as long as they don't have a way of killing the Sir Vondum, like if they have another Sir Vondum, they can play it out. Oh, okay. I think we're good. I think we're good. Let's... This is called a safety gain. We're going to get a little bit of a buffer just to play it safe. And then I suppose we go to combat. Do I load up this? Yeah, let's load this up. We'll keep our Shoot the Sheriff mana available to us. Everything gets huge. We go in. I think I don't even have to worry about what's going to happen here because I'm pretty sure this is just the opponent's death. Wow. Just made it against our cold honky over there. Okay, back on the winning train. We got 2 more left. Game number 6. Owen of Bowen this time. playing up, and I don't really play up in the high mythics all that often. We got to mulligan that one away. Okay, this hand looks good. What do you do? What do you do? Do you, if they're on creatures, you throw away, or you don't throw away the nowhere to run. But if they're on, oh man, it's so bad, right? What a tricky spot. Okay, we're all in on the ramp. It's gonna be okay. A lot of people are ramping these days. Oh, I don't. Oh man. Oh man, not having the nowhere to run when they have an optimistic scavenger on turn 1 is so bad. But yeah, I don't really make it to mythic this quickly in most seasons, so it's kind of interesting to be playing up here. I kind of would rather be playing in the like 95% area instead of this area, but it's fine. No more lands. Should have who could have known? Should have kept the nowhere to run and thrown away the land that we, who knows, you're going to draw 2 more lands, of course. As long as they don't have the Shelter by Ghost, but there's a good chance that they do, and I think I might just be done to, unfortunately, the mulligan and the bad luck on the top of our library. But if they don't have an immediate answer for our Ouroboroid, it's possible. No, we're just dead, right? We're not dead, but we're almost dead, because what we're going to have to do here is put the Gene Pollinator in front of the Double Striker, which will probably be the Optimistic Scavenger. We're going to still take probably 4 to 5 damage. We need the Ouroboroid to trigger like 5 times to be able to survive this one. Mono White. It's such a good deck. I know some of the guys were talking about what decks they should be playing in Standard right now to climb the ladder. And somebody did mention that the Mono White Auras deck, I made a video about it a week ago or so now. It's good. It's real good. I highly recommend it. It just does a whole lot. So we have to put this in front of that. It's a Sacrificial Lamb. Unfortunately, we're going to take 4 damage. Okay. Why? Okay, fine. Doesn't do anything. And we draw poop. So now we're dead, right? We're not dead, no, because now the Ouroboroid can potentially block something without dying, and then the Llanowar Elf has to go in front of the other 5/5. Spellbook Fender is real good. They get a trigger from the Optimistic Scavenger. I don't think I'm not dead yet. I'm nearly dead. No, I'm dead. Yeah, of course it works that way. Okay, so just a little bit of bad luck here. Of course, I could block and survive. I'm gonna see if I draw another land, because let's face it, these draws have been atrocious, right? What can you really do when you draw? Actually, has it all been land? It's been all land, hasn't it? Because our opening hand was Llanowar Elf, Ouroboroid, and the Gene Pollinator, and I don't have any other cards. Land? Yeah. Sure. Sometimes you're supposed to lose. You can't, unless you can throw lands at your opponents. We're not playing that card though. I'm very curious. How do you handle drawing literally only lands off the top of your library when you get in that position where it was 3 playables in the opening hand, and then 4 draws, land. How do you handle it? Are you able to handle it, or do you kind of like lose your mind a little bit? I'm very curious how you deal with it. Let's do a little peek behind the veil. When the camera's rolling, I handle it a little bit better than when the camera's not rolling, right? When I'm just like playing and that happens, it makes me want to just rage quit out of this game, and you start thinking like Magic is trash. It's the worst game ever made. Why would anybody ever make this game? Kind of thoughts. So I'm kind of curious where you are in that respect. Do you also I shoot the Grand Grand. Grand Grand is such a problem. I'm just gonna smoke the Grand Grand. That card, I love it. But because literally everybody's playing it, I have grown to hate this card. I remember when I first did my Lessons deck, I was like, Grand Grand's awesome. It's such a powerful card. It's so fun. And now I loathe to see it. Okay. They had, of course, 2 Firebending Lessons off the hop. Give us a 4th land. Last game, we had nothing but lands. This time, our opponent had ways of dealing with our ramp. Surely, we're going to draw the 4th land and not get... Oh, thank God. Okay, I had to summon that one into existence. And the opponent seems to be a little bit screwed on lands. So we get our Ouroboroid onto the field. They do have 2 in the graveyard. So, unfortunately, our Ouroboroid is not out of combustion... Sudden combustion... What is it called? The combustion card range. It's actually exactly 4. There it is. Oh, Iroh's Demonstration also does 4 damage. So as soon as that hits the field, my friend did say when I made this deck, he's like, you know, Ouroboroid hits the field and it's immediately killed. Let's test the theory. Does it continually happen? Do they have... this is another thing about the Lessons deck. I'm really ranting today. When I'm playing a creature-based deck, it just seems like the Lessons decks, they draw the damage side of their deck. And when I'm playing a non-creature-based strategy, they're going to have all of the bounce, and they're going to have that, you know, non-creature, meaning when I'm playing artifacts, for example. I was playing a ton of artifacts this week. They're going to have a hard time dealing with this board, though, right? Next turn, we are presenting lethal. They have to bounce the Ouroboroids. They don't have the ability to kill them straight up yet. So maybe we get away with a little bit of a win here. It'd be real good if they just throw out a monument. But they did draw 3 cards. Of course, they did have the Accumulate Wisdom for the full 3. What a card to be printed. And personally, I have been experimenting with Soul Guide Lantern a little bit, but it feels kind of bad against the Lessons deck because you can kind of pop it and get rid of their library, but for the most part, they can refill their graveyard with Lessons pretty quickly, and I just found it to not be very effective. You really need a Rest in Peace, I think. So how many do they have in the graveyard? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So they can do... Well, they can't do it, though. They don't have Grand Grand on the field. I just assume that for 1 mana, they can cast the Combustion card. That they never did show me it, so I don't know the name of it. But, yeah. Whew. Okay, we end on a win. That was 7 games? 7 games. Okay, so this Golgari deck definitely being a ton of fun to play. Unfortunately, I didn't really get to see old Louis here do much, although he would have been the hero of game number 3. I'm convinced that I would have won game number 3 had I done the Louis play a little bit differently, and at that time, he could have had glory, but unfortunately, he had a bad captain at the helm, and Louis did not get any glory this time around, but it is a good card when you do find it. For the most part, what's going on with this deck is just a Badgermole Cub deck with Ouroboroid, and you got some removal. I was quite impressed with the Acolyte. I think this card is just such a fantastic card. If you can get it out early, or you can get it out with a few creatures on the board and you can start attacking it, it generates so much value. It's not hard to either trigger the void by killing your opponent's things or by running some weak things into your opponent's stuff, and they kind of are in a position where they have to block. So I absolutely love the Acolyte. At worst, most of the time, it's drawing you a card, losing you a life. Not a big deal, but it's very, very good. I think the removal package is probably pretty good. We did run into that one spot where the Shoot the Sheriff did see an Outlaw, and that was weird with the Razorkin. So there are a couple of cards that might come in instead of Shoot the Sheriff. Maelstrom Pulse is an option that I was thinking about the other day. Maelstrom Pulse could be good. It could destroy a whole field of otters. That would be kind of cool. Or if your opponent is playing Lessons and they have their Artist Talent on the field, or if they have their Monuments on the field, Maelstrom Pulse can deal with multiples of those at the same time. So I think maybe even 1 or 2 copies of Maelstrom Pulse in the main could be pretty good. And then Disruptive Stormbrood kind of caught my eye while I was looking at other cards, and I think this could also be good. Petty Revenge, getting rid of something 3 power or less, probably is going to be pretty good. It can act as a Shoot the Sheriff in most cases, and then we could just hard cast the Disruptive Stormbrood for 5 mana. This deck is going to be generating 5 mana regularly enough. It's not a big deal. So when this comes in, we could destroy the monuments. We could destroy artifact like synthesizers if we end up running into the Jeskai artifact stacks. So I think both of these cards are pretty good considerations for this deck. Overall, I think Golgari definitely has a lot of room, and I think it's being ignored. In addition, next month, we are going to be getting the Shockland. So right now, the mana base is a little bit sketch with these cards, but if we can put in 4, I don't know what it's called for Golgari. I don't play enough Golgari. I'm sorry to all the Golgari people. Overgrown Tomb, right? I think I found it. That's what it's called. If we can get an Overgrown Tomb into this deck, it's going to make the mana base a lot smoother than it is with some of these awkward Starting Town Multiversal Passage cards. I don't really like that. But Golgari is going to have a fast land, a Verge land, and a Shockland. In theory, I think it's official that Lorwyn is going to put the other 5 in. So Golgari mana base suddenly going to be looking very good. Why not? I think this deck's going to be real hot. So try it out if you like what's going on here. I had a lot of fun playing this, and I have been having a lot of fun playing it just in my own time. Who doesn't love playing Ouroboroid? You know, I know this is becoming the big bad of a format, but it's such a cool card. That's it for this one. Hope you enjoyed it. Let me know what you think down in the comments. As always, sub up if you haven't, and I'll see you in the next one. Sarang e ipana, and bye-bye.